I am going to show you how to make a survival tool slash fire starter. And everything that you will need is a roll of masking tape, a pair of needle nose pliers, a small paper clip, a rubber band is optional. You will see why in a little bit. And one complete matchbook. Alright, so let's begin. The first step you will want to take is to take apart your matchbook. So you just rip out the matches. You want to keep the cardboard and then cut out the striker right there. And then you'll have this. This you set aside. You'll want that later. And then for the matches, you'll want to cut about halfway in between the staple and the actual matches. So it'll look like this, where all the matches are still connected. And then you want to take two of the matches right here and set those aside with the striker. You want all those later. And then you take your two halves of the matchbook and you rip both of them in half. So you'll have four halves. And then what you want to do is you take a piece of masking tape, you lay it out flat, and then you want to take your halves of the matches and lay them flat so the tips are barely touching the top. You can barely see them. You want to do that with all of them. The reason why you split them in half is because you'll want to line them up straight, and if they were still stuck together, they would make like a rainbow shape, so it wouldn't line up right. And then you'll have this. You lay that down. You take another piece of masking tape. And you lay it on top, just underneath the tips, and try and line it up with the other tape. So you can just barely see the tips. It'll look like this. And you want to cut off all the excess tape. And then you just want the tips. So what you want to do is cut just underneath the tips. So you'll have a strip like this. So you can just barely see, this is just the tips. And you have this you can throw away. So you've got this. Now what you want to do is you take a piece of masking tape and then you want to rip it down the center, vertical. And you take this, and then one of those matches that you laid out earlier, you'll want to put about 3 to 4 centimeters in. And then at the bottom of it, so it'll look like this. And then you'll take your stick of the tips and you line the tip of the full match up with the edge of the tape, and then you wrap around the tape, and you'll take your other match and then you put it right across from the other one. So there's two right there. And you wrap around your tape. So in the end, it should end up looking like this. Two matches right there, the stick, and then the tape that I wrapped around. And then you set this part aside, and then you'll want to take your striker and a paper clip. First, you take the paper clip, you bend it out so it kind of makes a diamond like this, and then you want to bend it in so the tops of the paperclip cross. And you can use your fingers if you want, but I just think that the plier or the needle nose pliers are easier. You take it and then you twist the tops of it together. You don't want to do it too tight because it'll end up snapping like that last one. And then take them, twist. So you'll get something that sort of looks like this. Maybe something that your finger fits in, and you can pull. And then you take your striker, and then if you're like me and you use the really crappy, really thin match boxes, what you want to do is you take the other half of the masking tape, and then you take not the rough part, but the back of it. You put the back of it to the sticky part of the tape. So it's like this. And then you'll want to get out all the extra tape that's all around it. So you'll end up with a piece that is actually more stable and it won't bend as easy. And then you'll take this piece and then you take your paper clip, you put it through, you bend it over to about the center, and then you'll take some tape and then you wrap it around like this, and then hopefully you'll get something that looks like this. And then what you want to do, you want to take the stick and then you put the pieces that are the striker, like the dark parts are on this side and this side. You want to line up the matches so the dark parts are on this side and this side. So you want the matches like this. And then you put it in, and then sometimes you might need to squeeze right here, or you just pull that if it's tight enough. But just to make sure it works so you can see, I will squeeze it right here and then pull. 3, 2, 1. And then it lights. And then this would go underneath your kindling. Like that. That's a survival tool that you can use. What you do, you make them before you go out on like an adventure or something. And then, yeah, so hope you enjoyed.